And now to give our keynote address, I'd like to introduce my very good friend and pastor of Commission Ministries, Pastor Jay.
Good morning to you all. How are you today? It's a wonderful day, isn't it? On this 50th anniversary of Dr. King's famous I Have a Dream speech, we must realize one thing, and one thing only. The work that was started many years even before the start of the landmark civil rights movement of the 1950s and 60s was only the beginning. Dr. King made this point very clear when he said, 1963 is not an end, but a beginning. Those who hope that the Negro needed to blow off steam and will now be content will have a rude awakening if the nation returns to business as usual. There will be neither rest nor tranquility in America until the Negro is granted his citizenship rights. The whirlwinds of revolt will continue to shake the foundations of our nation until the bright day of justice emerges. There is much work to be done, not just for African Americans, but for all people of color, for children, for women, and anyone who experiences inequality of any kind. However, the work is not to just be done among the politicians, activists, scholars, or community leaders. The work is to be done among ourselves. The work that is to be done must be done from this basis: to look after our neighbor. Our neighbor is the whole of mankind. Our neighborhood goes beyond those who can afford to live in the same neighborhood that we do, believe the same thing we believe, attend the same school, or look the same way that we do. Policy alone is not enough to change Dr. King's dream to a reality. We must engage one another in open conversation about matters of inequality, discrimination, and race. We should engage our children in conversations about how to treat everyone fairly, how to treat everyone equally, about not bullying and looking out for your classmates. We should do this by not with just words, but we should lead our children and our communities by example. We cannot make the mistake of making Dr. King, his work, his dream, and his sacrifice become a symbolic stand-in for the work that is still to be done. Every year we march, we sing, we recite his speeches, and then we go back to our daily lives and feel self-satisfied that this has fulfilled our obligation to the dream. This is not enough. There is still much work to be done. 50 years ago, Dr. King said, 100 years later, the Negro is still not free. 100 years later, the life of the Negro is still sadly crippled by the manacles of segregation and the chains of discrimination. 100 years later, the Negro lives on a lonely island of poverty in the midst of a vast ocean of material prosperity. 100 years later, the Negro is still languishing in the corners of American society and finds himself an exile on his own land. So we have come here today to dramatize a shameful condition. 150 years later, African American men are still being gunned down in the streets. Poverty still persists, and women are still treated as second class. It is imperative that we do not look at the dream of Dr. King's work as his work, or the next man's work, or a thing of the past. It is work that belongs to all of us. In closing, I leave you with a thought. Dr. King believed that our destinies were tied together, and that my freedom is inextricably bound to your freedom. Knowing this, we cannot walk alone. Thank you.
Before we have the closing remarks, I'd like to recognize the fact that you are here today as our guests at this celebration and this ceremony. And I'd also like to tell you that we have a representative from the LBJ Presidential Library here today who also gave photos for the commemoration of the Crossroads Project. And marching with us today will be the San Marcos Adventist Junior Academy, represented in the green shirts today. Now, to give the closing remarks, I introduce to you the president of the Dunbar Heritage Association, Mr. Harvey Miller.
My name is Harvey Miller. One day, me and my grandson was walking through the park, and this man said, "I think I know you. What's your name?" I said, "My name is Harvey Miller, a good-looking little fella." My grandson said, "No, Granddad, it's Harvey Miller, ugly fella." I started to slap him, but I said, "Well, maybe he thinks I'm ugly." So anyway, my name's Harvey Miller, so whatever one you think, whether it's ugly or good-looking, it's up to you. And then one more time, I take up your time. I walked through the park one day, and some man said, "Hey, here come Mr. Miller, good-looking little fella." His wife said, "No, I'm like his grandson. And Mr. Miller, ugly little fella." I started crying. But anyway, I'm the founder of the Dunbar Heritage Association, and I moved from Georgetown, Texas here in 1966. And I was involved in a lot of things there, and I filed a suit in Georgetown to integrate the schools there. When I come here, I got involved, and I asked different people, you know, who did it by the Juneteenth, reorganized Juneteenth, Black History, and all that kind of stuff. So the Dunbar Heritage Association sponsors this now, and we started, our first one was in 2003. And so we've been marching, and one year we marched down LBJ Street, but because they was, LBJ and MLK was friends and everything. But I just talked with the police, I think they're waiting down here now, so we want you to walk out, get on the sidewalk and walk down here, and then they'll close the street. And then we'll go down to Comanche Street, turn left, go down to MLK, and come down to the red light where it'll be down to the Justice Center. Now down at the little Justice Center down here, we'll have displays, and we'll have a lot of pies. You'll have pies. And I'll tell you something to also say to some of the women, you can eat some because they got a lot of, they don't have much, what you call it?
Sugar.
Calories in them, so you can go ahead and eat as much as you want to, and everything. And then one more thing before I got, I'm sponsoring another event and doing Juneteenth, and we have pageants for men, for women, for Cinco de Mayo and Miss Juneteenth and Miss America and all that, but they don't have pageant for men, and I don't think that's right. Yeah. So what I'm planning on doing is in June this year, I'm going to have a pageant for men also. And the pageant's going to be called Little Fat Man Pageant. So you got to weigh 200 pounds or more. And then you will sing, speak, or whatever you want to do. And then we'll decide, the judge decide who the Fat Man Pageant winner is. One guy told me, Mr. Miller says, I'm not going to be in there because I know you're going to put my picture in the paper if I win and all that kind of stuff. I said, well, they see you every day anyway, so what difference it makes? But anyway, not take up a lot of time. We want to thank you for being here. I'm glad the weather was good, you know, and I'll come worry about whether it be raining, whatever. But we're very proud of that, and everybody that's here, and the proclamations, and the representatives, and all of that, the Dunbar Heritage Association. And then we got the Crossroads, LBJ MLK Crossroads is down at the little courthouse where we're going now, and they going to have a presentation, a little thing. I'm supposed to be down at 11 o'clock, so I think what time is it, just 10:30? Time we march down at 11 o'clock, their event starts. So again, we want to thank y'all, thank everybody that's involved, thank you for showing up, and we'll look forward to next year. And you can decide what you want to call me, what Miller you want to call me, it's up to you. Okay, bye, and don't cry.
Thank you very much.
I'm recording you.